This week's SEWE Spotlight episode is with Hunter from Gallo Wines.
Yeah.
We had a great talk. Gallo Wines has the portfolio for a lot of brands that you would know. And because I am who I am, I picked out a couple that I wanted to say. But one of them is Apothic, which we were told is not it's a pretty mediocre price wine. But they also have Wild Irish Rose and Boone's Farm.
Yeah.
And a lot of other great brands we're joking around. But this is a good conversation that we had with Hunter, and we thank him for coming on.
Yep, thanks. Enjoy.
And we're back again with guest Hunter.
Glad to be here.
And you're from Gallo
Winery.
Gallo Winery.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about some liquor and some wine and some scotch.
I like talking about liquor.
We're going to talk about everything. Yeah, we do too. We're like, what could we do to have a podcast where we enjoy what we're doing? It's like, what do we like? We like whiskey and we like hunting. So this is where it came from.
I could just talk about it, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Perfect.
And we're sipping on some Old Forester today as well, with thanks to Cheers SC for donating that to us. We're going to be enjoying it. So tell me, your family owns it?
Oh, no.
Oh.
I wish. I'd be sitting on a private jet right now flying across the world. No, I'm just one of their minions. I cover the state of South Carolina for E&J Gallo, which is a family-owned company. So two brothers, Julio and Ernest, started it back in the early 1900s and, became a sensation, is now the largest winery in the world. So, if you were to look at our next closest competitor, I mean, we're about 3-4 times bigger than anyone else, especially with our acquisition of some of the Constellation brands last year, which super excited about. We've solidified a great spot to be able to innovate, create, and continue to build our spirits portfolio as well as our wine portfolio.
And you said you have wineries all over the country.
All over the country, all over the world. Yep. So
where did it start out of here?
No, it started out in California, Modesto, California. I don't know if you've ever been out there.
Is that wine country?
Yeah, no, it's farm country. It's let's just say if Gallo wasn't there, I don't know if the city would exist. So it's a beautiful place. Facilities are beautiful, but have you guys ever had a chance to go out to wine country?
No. I've been to LA and the insert here, but San Diego I really liked, but I have never been north of LA.
We have kind of an invitation to
Anderson Valley
for the brewery up there. It
was a good conversation. They do some pretty cool stuff.
Nice.
But it's like, I guess there's the same thing. That town wouldn't exist if it weren't for Anderson Valley.
Which, I mean, you see all these big corporations, a lot are coming into South Carolina now, I'm seeing, right?
Oh, yeah, there's tons.
Yeah, and we're actually building a new headquarters up in Chester County, up in the upstate, which is going to be our East Coast facilities, just as big as the one out in California, bringing 500 new jobs. Awesome. It's going to span over thousands of acres.
Nice.
We're going to have all the imports, instead of coming through the Charleston Harbor, getting trucked across the country to come back. It's just going to go straight into our new facility for bottling, for glass. We're going to make all our bottles there, and canning and everything like that. So super excited about that. Just broke ground and should be operational in the next year or two.
That's going to be awesome. We expect an invitation to come.
Oh, absolutely. You guys will be first on the list.
Yeah, we'd love to come up there and do some filming.
You bring the bourbon and, we'll walk around.
Absolutely.
Right? Sure.
What family of wines are you guys? You guys have all types, or you specialize in reds or whites?
We're all over the place. So some of our big names, which some of your listeners might know, La Marca Prosecco, Barefoot Wines.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Apothic, Louis Martini.
Oh, Apothic is one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah.
So they have the bourbon barrel, aged bourbon barrel.
Yep.
We have hundreds and hundreds of different SKUs, but a lot of they say 1 out of every 3 wines picked up at the grocery store now is a Gallo wine. So
I don't think I knew that Gallo was the parent company, I guess.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So when a lot of people do think, because Gallo has its own label and it's big jugs, right?
Yeah. I know the big jugs.
It was an older label, but that's what people perceive Gallo as. But I mean, we have the Orange Swift lineup, which bottles range, up into the mid 200s down to the Barefoot wine. So we're a huge winery, and we keep innovating, keep growing, and that's where I was talking about our spirits. So after this year, we could be the number 5 spirit supplier in the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
So or a lot of thanks to a little brand called High Noon Seltzer.
Yeah.
So that's us.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was at a liquor store and they were bringing High Noon in there, and somebody was like, "What is this?" And the guy was like, "Try it." Just he opened one, let us try it. And I was like, "I get it because Brittany, she drinks it all. Well, used to, she's pregnant now, but she used to drink it all the time."
Yep.
And Matt also brings it around. I didn't know that was.
Have you guys tried it?
I've had it. Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't had it yet.
Oh man,
I had it there at that liquor store.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous. I mean, they're so sessionable. I like to say, it will get you real fucked up, but you won't have a hangover in the morning. I promise you, because it's all real fruit juice. It's a vodka instead of malt based, like a lot of these seltzers are.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can add a vodka to it, you can add a tequila to it, and just mix it, and it just goes down too smooth.
That's how you guys get into liquor stores, because it's a vodka base.
Yeah.
Right. Because you can't have, if it was malt, you couldn't have it in a liquor store in South Carolina.
So I'm new to South Carolina. I just moved from Florida, which it's the wild, wild west, right?
You have everything all in one spot.
Oh, everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm getting used to the glass divider and the liquor stores, and so I manage the on-premise business, restaurants and hotels,
Okay.
and it was so strange to me that restaurants had to buy their liquor from a liquor store.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's so weird.
You know what's crazy about it is a lot of we were friends with several liquor store owners in the area, and they talk about, they're like, we did $10,000 yesterday with food and bev, and he's like, I made $80.
Oh yeah,
because you have to almost sell them below cost and make your money on people that just come in.
Correct.
But it's all about that volume, because unless you push massive volume, you're not going to get the allocated stuff that other people would want.
Absolutely, which I know it's a big thing in the bourbon and in the scotch world, and even the tequila world these days. I mean, the allocation on a lot of tequilas is insane.
Yeah.
So.
That's a lot of, I've become I don't know the word, not a fan, but I've become where I enjoy an añejo here and there, and some of those can get quite expensive.
Oh man, I tell you what, we have one called Don Fulano, which is beautiful añejo, but I mean, you're spending $70-$80 a bottle easily. I mean, but it's smooth. Like, you get a good añejo, you can sip it like a bourbon.
Absolutely, that's why I like it. There's a guy that I go to a liquor store here, Forsberg's, and he's a tequila guy, but he knows everything about bourbon. But they've handwritten all these notes about, you can go in there and ask for the book, and the book's got, these are the whiskeys or whatever that you want to buy. These are what won the awards last year, and it's like, so don't be looking for blends, don't be looking for the stuff, look at this stuff. And he gave me the tequila one, and I stood in there for an hour and just read his personal notes, and I'm like walking around the tequila.
They're his notes, like,
he wrote them personally.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so I'm walking around the liquor store, like looking at the bottles he's talking about and reading them, and ended up making a couple selections.
Yeah.
And he was like, he was like, those are great. He's like, by the way, do you want a bottle of Blanton's as well? I was like, no, man, I wasn't joking with you. Like, I seriously don't care.
Yeah.
What were some that stood out?
The ones that are in the big, tall, like ceramic looking one.
Like the porcelain.
Yeah, the porcelain, and it had a black, almost like a Jamaican beanie kind of thing on top of it. I can't remember what it was called.
I think I can picture it. I can't think of the name right now.
I'll put the name of it right here, because I'll look at it when I go.
Yeah.
But it was, I like them. And then there's another añejo. I can't remember that brand either. I'm a bourbon guy,
Yeah, of course.
I just have the tequila.
Well, I'm a huge bourbon guy too. And what's funny though, because obviously I worked for Gallo, I kind of got into the brown liquor through Scotch, which was, I know it's kind of opposite, but that was the goods that were free to me.
Yeah.
So I kind of entered into the brown category through Scotch, and it was super interesting to transition from Scotch to bourbon. And now I love to collect bourbon. I'm a big Blood Oath guy. I'm trying to find 1, 2, and 3 right now. I found 4.
Oh, did you?
I found
have
4.
6 and 7.
5, 6, 7. And I'm trying to find a customer that will slip me the 8 and 9 and 10 when it comes out. But huge bourbon collector, and definitely my drink of choice. But Scotch is super interesting these days, and the application it has in the present day in the cocktail world is growing and growing and growing, and the American palate is starting to invite it a little more. As bourbons, even some bourbons. What's the one? Peg Leg, right?
Yeah,
I love Peg Leg, but it's got that little smoke to it, right?
Yeah,
and
the porker.
The porker. So I don't think people are scared, and if they get educated on Scotch, they find that it's actually pretty smooth, and it's got a lot of the similar characteristics as bourbon, But people are so scared of the Lafroigs and all that.
Yeah, the Isla seems
Isla
to have a
scotches,
hard. It's a hard one to like. You have to kind of. But the other thing too is Scotch is supposed to be drank with water, and a lot of people don't. They'll just taste it and they're like, "This is too much." It's like, well, you're supposed to put a couple drops of water.
Couple drops.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Which with bourbon, that's almost sacrilege. It's like this is what they said it should be. You should drink it that way. And the other thing that's fascinating about Scotch as well is how much longer it has to be aged due to the climate.
Yep.
But we've tried. Like the Ardbeg people are nuts. The people that love Ardbeg are just insane.
Yeah, there's in Scotch I've learned just through being part of different communities and when you get into the really heavily smoked or heavily peated stuff, you are either firmly in that camp that likes it, or you are absolutely on. There's no in between. There's no gray area for that at all.
I'm definitely not one of those guys in that camp. As much as I like Scotch, it's just not enjoyable to me. It feels like you're just chewing on a piece of smoky wood.
Or if they get super medicinal, then like the rubber gloves, the Band-Aid, the iodine flavors.
Yeah.
I don't mind a glass of Scotch, but it has to be like today I'm going to have a Scotch and a cigar, and I'll sit down and kind of tough my way through it.
Well, you should definitely. Have you tried Dalmore?
Yep.
Okay. So definitely completely.
And I know that's one of yours. Yeah.
Definitely completely different than those Islay scotches. It's a Highland Scotch, which Highland Scotch is like the Macallans of the world, and definitely gonna be more bourbon-like. So if that's one that we're really seeing people start to gravitate towards. But before we go over into the Dalmore, we also have one of those scotches that kind of fit right in the middle between those Islay and the Highland. It's called Jura, and it's if craft, it was craft before craft was cool, as we like to say it, right? Jura is a little island off of Islay. That all that's on the island is a distillery.
Yeah,
and
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's insane. There's whirlpools to get to it. I mean, you only can get there by boat. But there's more red-tailed stag on the island than there is people. I mean, it's incredible over there. But they're like, I'd say on a scale from 1 to 10, where Lafroig and Ardbeg are like 8, 9. This is probably like a 2 or 3, where like Dalmore is like a 1. So, I mean, you're starting to get a little more peat, a little more smoke, but it's not overbearing. So that's where we're seeing a lot of cocktail application, because it does include that smoke and that grittiness, and it's Jura, it's cool, it's crafty.
Yeah.
So we can do a lot of fun things in the cocktail world.
Yeah.
Mixologists love it.
Yeah, when you have a whiskey or that has it is not so far in one flavor profile, it opens you up to being able to be a little more creative with the notes that it does have, to pair it with other things.
We also sell a cocktail smoker that's made out of bourbon barrels.
That's what he was telling me.
And I have the Macallan 17. Why they discontinued it, I haven't looked into it, but it's super unfortunate, because it was one of my favorites. I have one that's unopened that.
Hold on to
when
that.
you think about like your last days, like God forbid, but I almost don't want to know. But if I do know, like I got a week left, like during that week, I will open that. I will keep that until then.
Yeah.
And then I hope that if I don't get to open it, then they take it to the funeral and they pop it there. Like everybody drank this because this. But that smoked, and it adds with there's not a lot of peat to it. But some of that peatiness and some of that medicinal flavors that you get in that Scotch, combined with the bourbon barrel smoke to it, it changes it. It's a whole different world of flavor.
Yeah.
And one thing I've noticed is it's easy to get a bourbon guy to drink Scotch when it's smoked like that. But to get a Scotch guy to drink bourbon, I've noticed is almost harder, because a lot of times they think it's too sweet.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Which I got to try the smoked. I've honestly never. I mean, I've smoked old fashions with Scotch in it, but I've never just smoked a Scotch and tried it that way. So I'll definitely have to give that a try.
We'll hook you up with a kit before you leave.
Yeah, for
that'd
sure.
be awesome.
Yeah. We do. When we talk about whiskeys, and we try not to get too far down the rabbit hole, because there's plenty of other folks that do that.
Bourbon personalities.
There's a lot of those.
That's a joke.
It's a joke.
I was like, who's talking? Wait, where did that come?
I'll tell you after who it is.
Now I forgot what I was saying. Trying to be funny.
It's I think what we're saying is we usually don't go down the rabbit hole of flavors and taste. We like to more talk about from seed to barrel.
But when we do, like we always say, hey, don't turn your nose up to that whiskey or whatever yet.
Yeah.
Add some water, add some ice, and if and those were common things, right?
Yeah.
But now we say, try a little smoke, and because your olfactory system, right, the way it works is heavily involves the nose. So when you add that element of smoke, it brings out other flavors that you otherwise wouldn't have tasted. And when we started this, I don't think we really like we were focused on this would be great for cocktails, and,
Yeah.
and then when we realized that you can just add it to spirit by itself, it just opened up. So we have people who've told us and come by later and say, hey, I use that to smoke a coffee cup.
Yeah.
Or before I make green tea.
We had a kid that has
Tequila.
a YouTube page on with tea, and he bought it to smoke his teas. And
Wow.
like people do it with coffee. I mean, there's all kinds of different.
That's next level.
Yeah,
I mean, hey.
it's fun. It's fun to see because people are like, "Oh, I don't drink," and I'm like, "Well, you don't have to drink.
Yeah.
I'm sure you drink something."
Yeah.
You know?
Try smoking some
Yeah.
wine. See what
Yeah.
happens. You know.
Oh, shit, man.
I've never done that.
Never tried it.
And I drink a good amount of wine. I'm a more of a red wine than
Okay.
anything
What's your
else.
go-to?
The Apothic.
The
I
Apothic?
drink the
All right.
Apothic.
Yeah, you have isn't there a red blend?
Yeah.
Just a red, yeah, that's my favorite.
I drink that pretty because it's the price point's great.
Absolutely.
And I can do a bottle and I'm still good.
Yeah.
We have the ability to spend, we're adults, we can spend money
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
nice, expensive wines, but you don't have to have really good
No,
wine.
no.
What's the nicest wine you've ever had and what did you think about it?
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot.
I had $1,000 bottle. I can't remember what it was. It was some weird name.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it. It tasted
Oh
like
yeah.
almost vinegar. I don't know.
Well, some of those nicer, older Bordeaux's, let's say it was probably a Bordeaux, I would imagine. They're old vintage. You can get some that are 30, 40 years old. You got to let those sit for a while. You got to take the sediment out. I mean, you got to actually treat that differently than you would opening a bottle of Apothic, right?
Why decanter Apothic and it woke me up? I'm not joking.
I think you're the first to ever decant Apothic.
Seriously?
So
Dude,
thank
I
you
do
for
it all
that.
the time.
Thank you for that.
That's
That is
funny.
amazing. There's just so many good ones. I'd honestly have to dig down the rabbit hole on this one, but some of my favorite, like, just go to, like, without having to spend. I mean, obviously I've had like some $100, $300, $400, $1,000 bottles, which they're great, but it also depends on what you're eating too.
Yeah,
in
for
my
sure.
opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I mean, I've had some great $60 bottles of wine that I've remembered forever, and they're probably going to fire me for this, but Oberon is a great cab that I had with a fantastic steak up in Chicago that I remember more than a DRC, which cost $3,000 a bottle, right?
Yeah.
And like and not to say that the DRC is fantastic, and that's Domaine Raconti is what that is. This Oberon, I mean, with the steak that I had and just the people I was with, it's so much more than the juice in
Than
the
just the
bottle.
wine, right?
But, I mean, obviously the juice has got to be good, but it's my take on the whole industry and bourbons, wine, everything. It's who you do it with, how you enjoy it, and how you can remember it, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like we're in the industry, we drink a lot. I mean, not in a good way.
Yeah, we do.
But I think it's more about those memories that you create, and me and my wife are all like we want to collect this one, but then we're like, we need to open these because we're not going to remember this. Like, or to your point, what if we leave this world tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Like, so that's a tough question, but that's my opinion on it.
That's one thing that we focus on a lot is the experience, and we actually have a thing that we do called the experience, and it's been true time and time again that people would have something that they've had before and they're like, I don't remember liking this so much. It's like, you probably don't.
Yeah.
But it's just who you're with, the environment, and I've learned that a lot. We've gotten into cigars lately.
Yeah.
And there's been times that I've smoked a cigar out with people, drinking, having a good time, and I smoke a cigar and I'm like, this is my cigar. And I go buy a box of it and it shows up and I'm like, this is trash.
Because you're not in that same moment.
Yeah, I'm not in the moment.
You didn't just eat the same meal, so you don't have some of those same residual flavors.
Yeah,
that's the way it goes.
I agree 100%. But talking cigars, so Dalmore has an expression called a cigar malt.
Yep.
Which, if you haven't had it, give it a go and definitely have a cigar. It just pairs so fantastic. And I don't get me wrong, I love cigars and bourbon, like I do, but there's something that's different about a good scotch and a cigar, on a chillier night. I mean, it just hits home. We're talking those experiences. It'd be cool if you could like make a couple different pods with different climates and different atmospheres, and here's a different experience. And see like what people resonate towards. But the cigar malt, it's aged in Cabernet barrels for a little bit, so it you get a little bit more of that. that red wine-esque to it, which red wine pairs well with cigars as well. But
Absolutely.
you include that with the sherry cask and the ex-bourbon cask, and you just get beautiful notes of chocolate and cinnamon, and just it's fantastic.
So how long do they normally age in each barrel? Do you know?
I was gonna ask that question.
It depends. So, like, starting with our 12 year, right? And so with Scotch, when it says 12 years, that's the youngest Scotch in that bottle.
Same
right?
thing with whiskey.
Same thing with whiskey, yeah. So, a lot of times when it's a 12 year, you just got some 15 year in there, you got some 18 year in there, but, it spends about 3 years in Methuselah Oloroso sherry cask, and then about 9 years in ex-bourbon cask. And it's not like they go from one to the other, they blend it at the end, right? So, but what's cool about Dalmore is that they have this agreement with Gonzalez Baez, which is one of the biggest port producers in the world, and they are one of the sole proprietors or Dalmore was able to create get an agreement with them where they get to use their 30-year-old Methuselah Oloroso sherry casks, which no other Scotch producer in the world can use. That's what kind of sets us apart and really elevates Dalmore compared to a lot of the other labels.
What are the years currently available for it?
So commercially, you can find the 12-year, you got the 15-year, you got the Portwood, you got the 18-year.
I think I actually had the Portwood.
Portwood's beautiful. For under $100, I mean, it's a beautiful Scotch.
Yeah, I think I actually did have that.
Yeah, you got the 18, you got Cigar, and then you got King Alexander, which there's a story behind the King Alexander, which kind of goes back to the origin of Dalmore. So Dalmore is, you've seen the bottle, it's a 12-point stag on there.
Beautiful.
Well, that's the family crest of the McKinsey clan. All right, and it was given to the McKinsey clan, Colin of Kintail, back in the early 1200s when he was out with King Alexander III, and they were hunting, and a 12-point huge stag actually rushed the king, and Colin of McKinsey clan saved the king.
Oh, wow.
So he awarded him with the family crest.
That's cool.
So
That's dope.
there's a beautiful painting, and don't ask me where it's hung, but it's of
On a wall, I'd
on a
imagine.
wall somewhere. Yeah, thank you. It's actually probably in a basement somewhere at this point.
Probably,
but it's depicting Colin stabbing the stag, saving the king. So it's a badass painting.
What a great story.
That's
Yeah.
a cool honor to have too.
Yeah.
Like, that's your family crest, and a king gave it to you. You saved his life.
For sure. So that's alluding to the King Alexander III, which it's about a $300 bottle. You're getting there's a lot of like 25-year-old Scotch in that bottle. So, and because then you go to the 25-year, which is hard to find. You're looking at $1,300, $1,400, $1,500 a bottle.
Yeah.
Wow.
What would you recommend to listeners, like if this is your first time having a Dalmore? What would you say?
So definitely go with the 12. That's one that it's great to smoke, super easy drinking, price really affordable for a 12-year-old Scotch. You're right in the realm of the Macallan's, actually a little less than Macallan. And, you get nice notes of chocolate, you get nice notes of orange in there, and, it's super approachable, but you can also use it as a cocktail. They make fantastic old fashions, the 12-year-old does.
I have to experiment. I haven't done a lot of old fashions with Scotch. I need to try it.
I haven't either. I've done the one with the vermouth. I can't remember the name of the cocktail right now. It's
The Negroni?
yeah, I've done that with Scotch several times.
Okay.
And it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then there's one with
Interesting.
Campari that you can make.
Yeah.
That's really good as well. I don't know why I'm blanking on it.
Hey, it's okay.
Because the scotches that I have, I don't like. I have a couple Glenfiddichs that I just and so I have used them just to get rid of them.
Yeah.
I've used them in cocktails. I've been surprised.
Yeah, which you'll see Glenfiddich. It's a great Scotch as well. It's gonna be a little lighter. It's gonna be a little, more floral than the Highland Scotches and with Dalmore. But all great Scotches. I mean, you can't go wrong over there. But 12-year I think is a great way to get into the category. Really play around with it. Drop a couple droplets of water in there. Let it open up and have fun with it. And
Would you recommend more on the cigar? Like if you had the cigar blend, or what do you got? What do they call it?
cigar malt.
Cigar malt.
Yeah.
And then whiskey, it's a cigar blend. Well, there's actually really Magnus has the cigar blend, but everybody thinks that that's just theirs. But anyone could make a cigar blend if they wanted to. It's basically just going to be a stronger, heavier thing that will line up to a cigar.
Yeah.
So would you recommend that one too if you're a good cigar smoker and you're not
Absolutely.
new to the Scotch world? Or you
Absolutely.
are new to the Scotch world?
Listen, if you're a cigar aficionado, I mean, you can take the grit. You can take some smoke. Like that doesn't scare you as much, I think.
Yeah.
So definitely, I don't think the intimidation of the cigar malt. If you're a cigar smoker, go for it.
You hear that, Trevor? I'm talking to you now. We're gonna get you a bottle and send it to you, and we're gonna do a whiskey and whitetails pairing with the cigar malt.
Let's do it. Invite me, please.
Yeah,
I love that. And especially, hey, it's cold here to me right now. I came from South Florida, and we'd already be in 90 degrees right now.
He's in Pennsylvania.
Oh,
so
well, yeah.
He writes our cigar content for us.
Another fun thing about Dunmore is, so Sir Richard Patterson is the master distiller, and he's been around for 50 years. He was knighted by the Queen. The guy is awesome, insanely awesome. He's like 80 years old, right? And he came down to Florida, and we did a tour of the Florida markets. And at the time, I was probably 25, 26, used to going out, and my whiskey ambassador was around. I mean, we were younger, and this mid-70s guy he put us to shame. I mean, we were so tired. He wanted to stay out till 2, 3, just going and going. And I mean, it was day after day. And I'm just like, you are the man.
Yeah.
But I mean, we would go and he would do these scotch seminars and tastings. And it's so funny. I mean, the way he approaches it, he's just like, you gotta approach it like a lady. You go up, you go,
yeah, absolutely,
hello. And so,
I know who this guy is. I've seen him on YouTube.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, I know who this guy is.
He's a sensation, and he's still doing it. And I mean, he treats every cask like his baby, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just such a cool thing to see. And I know bourbon's got similar stories, but for someone 50 years that's been doing it for over 50 years,
Yeah.
has just made a name. His nose is insured for over £1 million. So,
What?
kind of like Kim
Oh, that makes
Kardashian's
sense,
asses.
man.
Yeah.
Rockettes insure their legs.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if your whole career rides on the ability for that
Well, look
body,
at Kim Kardashian.
that body part to function, then
Yeah. She does require a certain body part to function.
Exactly. Right?
For
Or no, was it
success.
J-Lo? I think J-Lo insured her ass for $1 million.
Probably.
or
That would
something
make
like
sense.
that.
Yeah.
But check out the YouTube video on Richard Patterson if you haven't seen it. It's so fun, and to see him. I mean, he'll sit there and throw scotch on people. Like, he's like, you just don't drink it this way, and throws it on people, and it's hilarious.
He's also the one that talked about, he had a lady that came in and she didn't like it, and so he added Pepsi to it, and it was like a 20-year or something, and everybody was freaking out, and he's like, look, I don't care how you like it, I just want you to like it. So if this is what makes her like it, then we're gonna drink it this way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
that's how we approach everything. Like
For sure.
we like to drink things neat simply because you get the full flavor profile, you get to taste everything. But like, if you want to take a pour of the most expensive bourbon you have and you want to add ice and Coke to it, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Like, we want to sit and hang out. Like, I don't care how you drink, just have a drink with us.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. I hate how people judge sometimes. It's like,
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
there's so many things we could probably judge you on your life, just because, like.
How about we not start with how I like to drink my whiskey?
Correct.
Exactly. It's probably a lot worse things, I promise you. But it's a fun world to be in.
For sure. So tell everybody, where they can find more information about Gallo and all that fun, what you guys are involved with, or
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're a big part of SEWE this week.
let's talk about that. Like, how'd you guys end up here?
Well, Brittany Livingston. So she new to the area, but she came to me. She's like, Hunter, this is the best thing. This is what I'm like. Hey, I'm for it. Let's give it a try. So super excited to be a part of it. Everyone's been great. John at SEWE is fantastic.
He's very
and the
good.
gala the other night was so nice. We have some of the wines here. So the J Vineyards wines, the Dark Horse cans out here today.
Yeah, I saw
wine.
that. I knew y'all brought the Dark Horse.
Yeah.
Okay.
So definitely super excited to be part of it, and can't wait to continue the partnership.
This is your first year at SEWE?
Yep. This is my first time ever to Brittlebank.
Oh, really?
So-
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Have you had an opportunity to go to any other parts of the?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I'm gonna check it out today though.
So one downside of being a vendor, and
Yeah.
like, you don't get to go to the other parts because
Yeah.
it takes over the whole city. But what were you saying?
I was saying, I'll give you a quick lay of the land when we're done, but I'll take you to our booth. We have a booth in there as well.
Okay.
And we'll hook you up with a smoker.
Yeah,
kit.
get your smoke kit.
No, definitely. Yeah, this is awesome. I wasn't expecting just the vastness of it.
It's huge.
I mean, I had to park a mile away.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got here at like 7:30 just so we could park right here. Yeah.
And then I saw someone drive in and said he's a vendor. I'm like, I wonder if I could have gotten away with that. Just said, here's look at the
didn't
wine in my
ask.
car.
You just tell them you're
Yeah,
a vendor.
yeah.
I mean, you're wearing
Yeah,
a vendor tag, so
exactly.
you would have been able to.
I know.
You're wearing a partner tag, so
Yeah.
you would have definitely being able to park it.
Lesson learned. Lesson learned.
That's there's a handful of badges that are I do whatever I want badges.
Yeah,
and I
that's
think
one of them.
Oh,
You can do
nice.
whatever you want here.
Pretty much.
I go jump in the pool with the dogs.
You can do whatever you want.
All right, perfect.
Somebody might say
If you
something.
think if you think that's good for you and for Gallo,
Perfect. I don't know. I don't know if it's good for my career, but hey.
Well, you can find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. But no, this is awesome. Super excited to be part of it and continue to grow the partnership.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We should do something again someday, and
Yeah.
we can get a little deeper in the woods. We got a studio in North Charleston. So
Okay.
Yeah. So are you based here in the Charleston
Yeah,
area?
we just bought a house over in West Ashley.
Oh, great.
Nice.
Over by Avondale. Super excited to be
Nice to
part
live
of
over
the
there.
fabric, you know.
Cool.
This city's awesome. It's changed a lot. So I went to UGA Go Dogs National Championship. Champions. But used to come down a lot in college, and just
Okay.
in the last 10 years, I mean, it's insane.
It's
the difference.
completely different.
I mean, it's nuts.
Yeah.
I
He's
did-
lived here 11 or 12 years.
13.
13 years. And I remember coming down here for his wedding, and
Yeah, 2014. And
yeah,
it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It's night and day different now.
It's when I moved here when I got out of the army.
Okay.
In 2016, and it's even from then it's changed a lot.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your service.
No. It was all selfish.
Twice today.
It was all selfish. I did it for me. I didn't do it for anybody
Well,
else.
that's even better then, right?
Yeah.
So,
I was in a weird situation in life, and the army was like, "We can fix that," and they did.
nice. Well, perfect.
Yeah.
Glad for that.
do you hunt or fish at all?
I did a little fishing down in Florida, but actually never been hunting. So I was talking to Matt about that earlier.
We're gonna fix that.
Let's,
Yeah, well,
let's make it happen.
yeah.
You know, down in Florida, you just don't do a lot of hunting.
Yeah.
So,
It's hot.
Between
yeah.
the three of us, there's no excuse why you cannot find yourself in a tree stand
You
somewhere
should
this year.
definitely, not that we don't want to go with you, but
Yeah.
if you were to pick, I would pick Matt Livingston.
Yeah,
He's an epic hunter.
Is he?
He's really
Yeah.
good.
Definitely.
He's really good. Yeah.
all right.
He
Well-
may be one of the best hunters I know personally.
Well, let's find a time. We'll all go. I'll bring the scotch.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm down for that.
Heck yeah.
That'll be a lot of fun. But
Sweet.
yeah,
Well, Hunter, we appreciate you coming on.
this is awesome, man.
Cheers,
Great
man.
meeting y'all.
Yeah,
Cheers.
cheers.
Let's do it. All right. Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Thanks.